Hi everyone, good day. Kamusta kayong lahat? I hope you all are okay. At welcome back to another lesson. So last time we talk about genres, values, and plot development. So for today, we will be discussing the figures of speech, or also known as the figurative language. So para saan ba to, ma'am? Para ba to pahirapan ng buhay na naman namin, no? Hindi. Figurative language is, the specific language used for literature. So, tulad nga ng na-discuss ko last time, literature is uses language na hindi agad-agad natin naiintindihan. So, in other words, conceptual siya or subjective. So, depende yun sa pagkakaintindi ng readers or depende din sa language na gustong iparating ng writer. So, ganun si literature. It has its own language. So, yung language na yan, figures of speech ang madalas na ginagamit or yung tinatawag na nating figurative speech. So, ano bang importance ng figurative speech? So, one importance of that is it enhances our literary piece. So, it enhances the beauty of the writing. It enhances it gives color, it gives texture, it intensify, especially for the stories that we read or we need to write, when we are expressing drama. So, figurative language ang ginagamit doon. And, it leaves the reader a sense of wonder. So, alam ko lahat naman sa inyo nakatry ng makabasa ng poems, short stories, yung mga yan, novels. It leaves us a sense of wonder and, there's that thrill na hindi agad natin nakukuha. Dapat kailangan talaga nating magbasa ng magbasa. So, sabi nga dito, the more you read, the more you will be able to understand. Ayan. So, the more you read, the more you will be able to understand. Sabi dito, figures of speech refer to any use of language where the intended meaning differs from the actual literary meaning of the words themselves. So, unlike sa mga formal writing natin, yung mga letters, ganyan, yung mga autobiography, essays, it uses specific language na direct nang pinapakita yung meaning, right? Yung meaning niya, denotative, galing sa dictionary. But for specific literary pieces, it uses language na it makes us think. Ayan. So, yun ang nagagawa niyan. So, sabi nga dito, it's nice to enhance the language a little without having to say everything literally. So, pangit naman na lahat sinasabi mo in toto or lahat na lang sinasabi mo literal. Though, itong figurative language, pwede rin siyang gamitin as a secret language between your group, ganyan, your specific language. So, yan yung importance niya. So, hindi ito para pahirapan kayo or hindi ito para para magdagdag lang tayo ng lesson. This is an important topic because halos lahat ng mga babasahin natin later on has figurative language. So, pag alam natin yung mga meaning niya, then, doon natin ma-realize, bakit kaya parang wrong grammar siya? Bakit kaya parang hindi mo maintindihan agad yung meaning? Bakit iba yung order ng mga sentences? Unlike sa formal writing na we have that order of subject, verb, tapos object. Diba? So, dito, naiiba. Kung babasahin niyo yung kila Shakespeare, ganyan. Pag binabasa mo siya in a normal, o normal na pagkabasa, hindi mo agad-agad sobrang naiintindihan. You need to study every line, every phrase to really get the deeper meaning of it. So, by studying this, konti lang naman, mga 17 lang naman siya. 17 lang naman, so, konti pa yun. So, pili lang to ng mga figurative language. Actually, we have a ton of figurative language. So let's get into it na. So number 1 is alliteration. So alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds. Now, baka malito kayo, kaya pinagtabi ko na si alliteration and repetition. Okay? So sa repetition, ito naman yung pag-repeat ng word, phrase, structure in several times. So, nire-repeat niya yung word. So, dun muna tayo sa alliteration. So, tingnan natin yung difference later. So, for alliteration, the beginning sound of word. So, not the beginning sound of letter. Ulitin ko. Repetition nga siya of consonant sounds, but hindi na nilagay dito, but it is the beginning sound of a word, not a beginning sound of a letter. So, for example, cat, C, letter C siya. Hindi siya under sa alliteration na pag pinagtabi mo sa choice, magkaiba yung sound, magkaiba yung beginning sound of the word. So, cat, choice, iba, di ba? So, in this example, you will see do, de, da, di, yan. Do, daylight, di ba? Day. So, lahat yan, nandun siya sa under ng beginning sound of a word. So, pabalik tayo sa kindergarten, alam na natin yan, da, de, di, do, do. Yun na lang yung gawin nating, clue para maalala natin na alliteration is not the repetition of the consonant letter itself or the consonant sound. The consonant, the sound of the letter, yung C, C, C. Hindi natin nakikita dyan na D, 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 D. So, kung titingnan mo, hindi naman yan about the letter talaga. It is the consonant sound. Okay? So, pag dito, sa, se, si. Yan. Slept, soundly, sand. So, yan yung sana clear yan. Okay? It is the repetition of the consonant sound. It is not about the sound of the letter. So, at least 3 times na inuulit siya in a sentence. And, yeah, it is used for advertisements, ganyan, poetry din, to make the lines memorable. So, yung naaalala mo siya. Okay? So, one example of that is yung, alam na natin yan, Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled pepper. Yeah? Tapos, yung, she sells seashells on the seashore. Okay, so yan na yung tandaan nyo. Kasi kung alalahanin pa natin tong example na to, though it's nice, don't delay dawn's this alarming display, thus demand daylight. Or Sarah's 7 sisters slept soundly in sand. So baka hindi pa natin maalala yung example na yan. So alalahanin na lang natin yung Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled pepper, or she sells seashells on the seashore. Now, that's under alliteration. Okay? So yan, yun na yung clue natin para hindi na natin makalimutan sa alliteration. Again, it is not about the beginning sound of letter. It's not the letter, but it is the repetition of the consonant sound at least 3 times in a sentence. Okay. So, let's move on to repetition. Repetition naman is the repeated word, phrase, or structure. So, usually in close proximity. Ibig sabihin, magkakalapit sila. Now, that is to emphasize a particular idea. Now, for repetition, it creates a rhythm and bring attention. Okay? So, ginagamit siya to emphasize nga, and then to draw the reader's attention to the writing. So, as you can see, meron tayong linya na, if you think you can do it, you can do it. So, that's the example of a phrase, right? Inulit niya 2 beses yung you can do it. So, if you think you can do it, you can do it. So, iba yung dating niya, diba? Iba yung emphasis. Or yung, lagi kong naririnig sa, ewan ko kung may mga taga-ISAP yan, students ako, or galing sa MCNP, galing sa ISAP. Kasi yung mga kapatid ko, galing din sa ISAP eh. So, every time na nag-attend ako ng mga forums nila, mga meetings, nandun lagi si Father Eagle nila. So, yung si Doc Guzman, so lagi nga sinasabi sa mga estudyante, sa mga bata, study, 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 and pray. Okay, so that is repetition. It is a repetition of a specific word, phrase, or structure. So, yun ang difference niya sa alliteration. Though alliteration is a repetition, but it's for consonant sounds only. For the repetition naman itself, dito, sa number 2, this is about, it tackles about the word, phrase, or structure. Okay. So, okay na yan. Let's move on to anastrophe. So, anastrophe naman is the inversion of the normal order of speech in a particular sentence. So, ito is, yung tawag nila dyan minsan ay inverted in syntax. Now, ma'am, ano ba ibig sabihin ng inverted syntax na yan? No, di ba yung normal, tulad ng sinabi ko sa intro kanina na, yung normal natin na grammar is the subject, verb, object. So, parang, Angel teaches English. Okay? So, Angel teaches English. Yun yung ating normal na Angel is the subject, teaches is the verb, and then English is the object. Okay, yun yung normal. But for anastrophe, since inverted siya, inversion meaning may distortion of, may mga misplaced kang words. So, sa anastrophe naman, ang ginagawa nila, nauuna yung object. Una yung object, tapos subject and verb. So, balik tayo dun sa Angel teaches English. So, pwede nating sabihin, object, di ba yung English? So, English is the subject that Angel teaches. Mga ganon. So, yung reader, madodraw yung attention niya kaagad dun sa English. Dun sa object na tinutukoy. Hindi na masyadong nadraw yung attention niya dun sa subject, which is yung Angel. So, dun na-focus yung mga tao sa object kaagad. So, tingnan natin yung example dito. Object, there was none. Passion, there was none. So, alam mo kaagad na object, wala. Passion, wala. Unless kung yung normal na formal language natin ginagawa natin, there was none object. There was no object or there was no passion. Diba? So, parang, medyo, pwede siya sa formal writing, yung pang school, yung mga essays, ganyan, research, ganyan, pwede siguro yun, mga letter, ganyan. Pero for literature, literary pieces, di ba parang iba yung dating, or pag, nagme-ment sa anastrophe kasi, ginagamit din to maintain a rhythm or to create an emphasis also. So, to maintain a rhythm, yung gusto mo, rhyming words lahat, or gusto mo pag may mga yung may mga pentameter, may mga bilang yung mga words mo, magandang gamitin tong anastrophe. So, yun nga, again, sabi ko sa inyo, it's not always na kailangan tama yung grammar mo, you know? Yung ibang writers na nababasa natin, akala natin, parang iba yung grammar niya, no? Parang, ako ba yung mali or siya yung mali? So, parang we tend to understand, hindi, tayo yung mali, tayo yung wrong grammar kasi mas magaling sila sa atin. No! Actually, yung iba dyan, talagang ini-invert nila. It may sound wrong grammar to us, but at least they caught our attention, di ba? Parang nag-pay attention tayo on that. So, success nila yon. So, pag ginagamit natin yan sa literary pieces, grammar is not so that important. At as long as you're able to intensify the emotional na message na pinaparating nung ating mga literary pieces, then we succeeded. Okay, so yan. So, andyan din, why should their liberty than ours be more? Diba? Parang iba yung dating niya. So, yan yung meaning ng anastrophe. It is the inversion. Okay, so meron pa ko example dito. Yung you must have patience. So, lagi natin narinig yan. You must have patience. But for anastrophe, invert natin yan. Patience you must have. Diba? Parang, wow, parang, talino mo ah. So, iba yung dating, diba? Parang may iba siyang, iba-ibang feeling. Parang, nga no, patience I must have. Parang, yun. So, alam nyo, in order for you to memorize these things, you need to practice it. You need to put it into practice. Unahin mo sa mga kaibigan mo. Mag-message ka, patience I must have. So, yun, kasi, yung mga cliche na nating naririnig, parang, you must have patience. Oo, alam ko na, I must have patience. Pero pag sinabi mo, patience you must have. Parang iba, parang magigising siguro yung kaluluwa nila. Okay, so gamitin nyo yan para ma-remember nyo. Okay, so meron din dito, sabi dito, though hindi na sobrang i-touch to, but sabihin ko na lang, other example of that is the adjective is placed after the noun. So normally the strong soldier. Parang gano'n, di ba? Yun yung normal na ano natin na nakikita natin, the strong soldier, meaning yung adjective na strong, dinadefine niya yung soldier. But for anastrophe nga, ini-invert niya. So, sabi dito, the soldier strong. Ayan. So, baka magtaka kayo, ma'am, bakit parang mali? No, nasa literary world tayo. Siguro pag nandun ka sa, autobiography, mga ganyan, yun yung mga formal writing, yung essay, ganyan. No, meron pa isa, sabi dito, when the verb is placed before the subject. So, yung normal natin nakikita, the policeman shouted, or the policeman shouts, ganyan. But for this anastrophe, shouts the policeman. Okay, so yun yung mga ano niya. And then, there's another one, so pwede nyo siyang i-take down para niyo makalimutan. Noun before preposition. So, preposition, yung mga between, mga ganyan. So, normal natin nakikita na between worlds. Ganyan. But for anastrophe, worlds between. So, tingnan nyo, may iba siyang hila talaga. So, yun yung si anastrophe. Again, is the inversion. Okay, let's move on to anaphora. Now, anaphora is the repetition of one particular word purposely. And that is siguro at the start of consecutive sentences or paragraphs. No, that is to emphasize a point. Now, sabi dito, anaphora is for emotional engagement. So, kung babasahin natin yung mga example dyan, I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to live. I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to succeed. I'm not afraid to fall in love. I'm not afraid to be alone. I'm just afraid I might have to stop talking about myself for 5 minutes. So as you can see, a particular phrase, or the particular word is repeated consecutively at the beginning or at the start. Now we have water, water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any dropped drink. Yan. So, ayan. He came as a conqueror. He came as an ally. He came as a stranger. He came as a brother. So, he came. Yun lang ang tatandaan natin sa anaphora. Again, this is a repetition of one particular word or a phrase to emphasize a point or for emotional engagement. Okay. Yeah. I'm not afraid. Ulitin na, I'm not afraid. So, pwede ito ilagay, alam niyo, iniisip ko, ilagay ko to sa wall ko, to remind myself, I'm not afraid to die, I'm not afraid to live, I'm not afraid to fail, I'm not afraid to succeed. Ayan. So, let's, credit that to Kinky Rideman. Okay. Let's move on to antithesis. So, antithesis naman is the opposition or contradiction between two concepts in a statement. So, initially, ginagamit ito for contrast of ideas, words, phrases, clauses, or sentences. Now, so nakikita nyo yan dito, contradiction means the opposite, diba? So, the sun so hot, I froze to death. So, froze is for cold, diba? And sun is for, to melt sana. But, these two are opposition or opposing ideas, opposing words. Yan. So, sun, froze. So, nakikita natin yan. So, you're easy on the eyes, hard on the heart. Ouch, parang mabigat yata yun. So, yeah, another thing of that is, ganda tong line na to. Speech is silver, but silence is gold. So, hindi naman lahat ng silence is gold, no? It depends, pero, minsan, to avoid, I have this certain line na napanood ko kagabi. Sabi, raise your words, not your voice. Wait lang, i-check natin kung tama ako. Baka mali-mali pinagsasabi ko dito. Raise your words, not your voice. So, it is rain that makes the flowers grow, not thunder. So, sa pastime ko kagabi, medyo nakanood-nood ako ng cartoon. Pero ang ganda nun, the breadwinner. So again, raise your words, not your voice. because it is the rain that makes the flowers grow, not the thunder. So, ang lalim nun. So, example ko lang yun dito. Hindi naman siya sobrang antithesis, but, yun nga again, parang ganito rin yun. Opposing contradiction of two concepts. Yan. Speech is silver, but silence is gold. Ayan. Okay, so let's move on to foreshadowing. Foreshadowing naman is, for future events in the story. So, to give us an outcome or suggested by the author before they happen. So, foreshadowing is, ma'am, para saan ba yun? It is to build suspense or to give us hints or to guide or to help the reader guess what will happen. So, as you can see, alam ko, sa inyo may mga na mahilig magbasa. Meron sa first part of the book na meron kasi ako nabasa one time na book na yung pinakaunang page, alam kong yung storyline na yun na sagutan ng mga characters, alam kong mangyayari pa siya sa gitna kasi medyo nasa climax na siya. So, parang na yung idea ko na ito yung mangyayari, ganito siya, mag-aaway sila, ganyan. So, yun yung nandun sa first part of the page. So, that is an example of foreshadowing. That is giving us a hint of what will happen. So, yun yung nagagawa ng foreshadowing. So, next time na magbasa kayo ng libro, tas may nakita kayo naligaw na page sa pinakauna, huwag niyo sabihin, nagkaroon ata ng error yung printing press or nagkaroon yata ng error yung writer. Hindi. Minsan, sinasadya ng writer yun to place a page, a sheet of the climax to the first part before even starting the book. Doon. Okay. So, it often appears at the beginning of a story or a chapter to help the readers develop expectations. Ayan. So, pag nakakabasa tayo ng ganon, nagbe-build up yung expectation natin on the story. And then, sabi dito, also, title of a work or chapter title can act as a clue. So, nakikita natin yan. Ano yung chapter 1 title? So, may mga snippets of words dyan na para nakikita natin. That is to give us a clue of what will happen in that certain chapter. Okay. So, that is an example of foreshadowing. It is to build suspense, to give us hint, to guide us on what will happen, to develop expectations, so on and so forth. Okay. Next, we have hyperbole. So, yan, alam na natin yan. It is the word or description that exaggerates. Often, ginagamit natin sa ating buhay. So, lagi na sinasabi na, pagod ako for 3 months hindi ako natulog. For 3 months hindi ako natulog. Though, specifically or sa totoong buhay naman, nakatulog naman tayo. Siguro hindi lang sobrang tulog na tulog. Mga zombie mode na 1 hour lang, ganyan. But nakatulog naman tayo. It doesn't mean naman 3 hours ka talagang gising all night, all day, diba? So, that is an example of hyperbole. So, yan. So, hindi natin namamalaya na ginagamit natin sa halos everyday. Sasabihin natin na, this is the best food in the whole wide world, ganyan. Or, you are the most beautiful girl in the planet, ganyan. So, yun ang ginagamit natin. So, next time na may nag-exaggerate ng things na sasabi, ang hirap, parang tayo ang pinakamahirap na course sa buong mundo. Or tayo ang pinahihirapan na estudyante sa buong mundo, no? Sabihin natin, agad i-reply natin, hyperbole. Anong hyperbole? Search mo na lang. So, yun ang hyperbole. Ginagamit natin siya halos sa araw-araw, but hindi lang natin namamalayan na hyperbole na pala siya. Ginagamit yung hyperbole kapag inuutusan kayo ng nanay nyo. Na, kunwari, nak, magugas ka. Alam mo, 1 year na akong araw-araw nagugas. No? Technically, hindi ka naman 1 year na araw-araw nagugas. So, yun na, hyperbole yun, no? So, kung alam lang ng nanay natin na ang word na hyperbole, baka sa isang araw nakasampung, hyperbole number 1, hyperbole number 2 tayo, ganyan, hanggang 10. Okay. So, again, this is a description which exaggerates or a description that is impossible. whole wide world, sinasabi mo siya ang pinakamaganda sa buong mundo, siya, pwede naman yun. That is in your own subjective way. Subjective, ibig sabihin, your own definition, your own paniniwala. So, walang makakapigil or hindi, yung i-reject yung idea mo because we are in the world of literature. So, everything is accepted. So, yung definition mo, okay lang yan. Okay. So, ayan, sasabi natin na, alam mo, parang lunod na ako sa trabaho. Or parang lunod din ako makahinga sa mga homework natin. Parang nalulunod na ako sa dami ng homework. So, drowning in homework. Parang ganyan. So, yan. Hyperbole is also used to dramatize a situation where in reality, the situation may not be that bad. We're so guilty of that. Okay, yan. So, I'm so busy trying to accomplish 10 million things at once. Lagi natin sasabihin, parang 100 yung assignment natin, hindi na lang matapos-tapos. Ganyan. Ayan. Yan yung example ng hyperbole. Okay, how about, let's move on to irony. Yan. This is about the opposites naman. Okay, to convey the opposite. Okay, so this is a basis of sarcasm or of humor. So, we have 3 types of those. You have situational, verbal, and dramatic. Now, what is situational? Situational is when the opposite of what is expected happens. So, when the opposite of what is expected happens, for example, Bill Gates winning a computer, well, in fact, he is the owner of the world's largest software company, di ba? Or sabi natin na, a doctor who is afraid of injections. So, di ba, expectation natin is, sana hindi na sila takot kasi doctor sila. So, that is situational irony, when the opposite of what is expected happens. Or, for example, a driving instructor bumps a pole while parking. So, nakabangga siya while parking. Well, sa totoong talagang pagkasabi ay driving instructor siya. So, dapat hindi siya makabangga. Though, again, maraming disgrasya, hindi natin napipigilan yan. But, it is expected kasi when yun yung profession mo, driving instructor ka, biglang nabangga mo lang while parking, diba? So, yan is yan example ng situational irony. Next, we have verbal irony. So, this one naman is when a speaker's intention is the opposite of what they're saying. So, yan. Having a fight with your best friend just before your birthday and commenting, great, this is just what I needed. So, yan yung example ng verbal irony. Why? Because it is probably the worst thing that could happen before your birthday, right? Okay, so meron pa ako example dito na, kunwari, nasa isang anti-smoking campaign ka, tapos bigla kang naglabas ng banner dyan, nilagay mo, smoking is attractive. Pero naglagay ka naman ng lungs na kulay, na yung baga na kulay black. So, parang verbal irony siya. Since, yung nagpapakita dun sa banner mo, attractive, pero meron ka namang drawing. So, they are the opposition or opposites. Next, kunwari, after a storm or a flood, biglang sinabi mo, it's a lovely day today, isn't it? Baka yung mga nabahaan dyan, wag sinabihan mo, be thankful, it's a lovely day today. Baka makurot ko, baka masapak ka pa. So, that is an example of verbal irony. So, yun. Madalas natin ginagamit, especially pag, we're being sarcastic. Okay, that's the meaning of it. Next, we have dramatic irony. So, this is when the audience or reader is aware of something important of which the characters in the story are not aware. Okay, so in Romeo and Juliet, when Juliet is drugged, Romeo assumes her to be dead and kills himself. So upon waking up, Juliet finds him dead and kills herself. So mainly, this is based on communication and misunderstanding. But, we as the audience or the reader, we know what is happening, but the characters in the story are not aware. Okay, that is dramatic irony. Yeah, sana naintindihan niyo yung irony. Okay, we have litotes. Yeah, litotes is for emphasizing while avoiding direct mention. So, dito sa litotes, it is the use of understatement or the use of negative opposite or yung mas madalas nating naiintindihan yung double negative. Okay? So, again, it is emphasizing while avoiding talaga direct mention. So, for example, tinanong mo sa kaibigan mo, do I look good today? Ang isasagot niya sa'yo, alam mo, litotes ang ginagamit mo pag hindi mo alam kung ano sabihin mo. Gusto mong maging mabait na kaibigan, pero gusto mo maging honest na kaibigan. So, ayaw mo naman sabihin na, yeah, you look so good. Ayaw mo naman ganon. Kasi, sabi nga nila, pag totoong kaibigan ka, sabihin mo daw yung totoo. Ayaw mo naman masaktan yung feelings niya, kaya hindi mo masabing mukha siyang sabog na sabog today. Ayaw mo naman yun. So, litotes, pwede mo isagot na, you don't look bad. So, you don't look bad. O, yan. So, double negative siya. Don't and bad. No, double negative. Pero at least, hindi man sa sobrang good sa paningin mo, hindi naman siya sobrang bad, di ba? So, pwede mo sabihin, you don't look bad. So, next time na may nagtanong sa'yo, maganda ba ako? Mag-isip ka na. Dapat especially daw sa boys, ganyan. Kasi, girls are, we are, sometimes sensitive. Or, as affectionate kasi tayo, ayan. So, our words matter, yan. So, litotes ang gamitin nyo. Yan, double negative. So, yan. So, kunwari, we opt to say amazing, ganyan. Pero, sa tingin mo parang, yeah, amazing siya, pero hindi naman siya sobrang amazing kasi may other experiences ka na amazing. So, pwede mo sabihin na, this is not unimpressive. Not negative, unimpressive, negative. Not unimpressive. O, diba? So, ganyan si literary. Yan. So, example din dito, not unfamiliar, not a bad mathematician, ganyan. Okay, yan. Or yung not never, ibig sabihin nun, sometimes. Okay, so yun yung si litotes. Next, we move on to metaphor. Now, metaphor is, I'm so sorry, a direct relationship or wanting already a substitutes for another. Okay, so this is used for a purpose of comparison. Now, metaphor, is medyo madalas na nating naririto, cliche. O kunwari, he is the black sheep of the family. Or she's a bomb. O, so, there's that comparison. So, baka malito tayo So, yung metaphor and personification and simile, medyo magkakalapit sila. Okay? Kasi, it is a relationship or a purpose of comparison. So, yan. So, dito naman talaga sa metaphor, it is yung relationship talaga, yung comparison ng dalawa. So, parang dinedefine mo yung certain subject of the sentence. So, for in this case, sofa yung subject of the sentence. Sofa ang pinag-uusapan. So, the sofa is fertile soil for a couch potato. Ayan, but my heart is a lonely hunter that hangs on a lonely hill. Yan, mga yan. Ayan yung mga example niyan. Shakespeare uses light as a metaphor for Juliet. Romeo refers to her as the sun, as a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Yan. And then we move on to metonymy. So, metonymy naman is a phrase regarding an associated concept in order to describe the actual concept. Okay. So, metonymy is about concept. Okay. So, dito na medyo magkakalito-lito na tayo dito kasi meron ng association and comparison. But for metonymy, always remember na it is to represent a concept. So, for example, dito, I have the example here, yung medyo mas madali-dali. Perk up your ears. So, hindi naman talaga ears ang pinaparating nun. So, there's a certain concept na gusto niyo iparating. Perk up your ears, ibig sabihin, you pay attention. So, yan si metonymy. It is a phrase regarding an associated concept in order to describe the actual concept. Or, give her a hand. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please give her a hand. Hindi ba ibig sabihin nun, naputulin natin yung kamay natin tapos ibigay natin doon? Hindi naman, di ba? So, ibig sabihin nun is to clap or to applause. So, yun si metonymy. It is an associated concept in order to describe the actual concept. Okay. So, dito, the White House denied allegation. White House meaning hindi man yung White House talaga. Ibig sabihin, yung president, ganyan, yung head. Ayan. He writes a fine hand. It means he has a good handwriting. Editorial page has always believed, this refers to the belief of the editors who write the editorial page. Diba? So, yeah, ayan. Ayan na, mga yan. And then, we move on to onomatopoeia. So, this is where sound are spelled out as words. Okay. So, these are words describing sounds actually sound like the sounds they describe. Okay, so, again, baka ma-confuse tayo. This is not like the interjections. So, onomatopoeia is not interjections. Baka ma-confuse tayo. Interjections is your hey, wow, ouch, yay, mga yan. So, hey, wow, hindi yan sounds. Okay? Hindi yan sounds na na-spell out as words. Okay? So, onomatopoeia is yung clatter of utensils. Clatter, nagde-describe siya sa sound na ginagawa ng utensils. Flutter, ginagawa ng birds pag nagpa-flap yung wings nila. Okay. So, yan yung example niyan. So, yung pag-boom ng bomb. Okay. Pag-buzz ng bees. Ganyan. Yan si onomatopoeia. Again, this is not interjections, okay? So, baka malito kayo pag nagbigay ako ng exam soon na nalagay dyan ng hey, wow, ouch, or yay. Diba? Hindi naman yun the exact sounds na spelled out as words. Okay. Na-clear yun. Next, let's move on to oxymoron. Oxymoron is the contradiction in terms. It makes things interesting. So, a contradiction siya in terms. Okay. So, kunwari, yung word na open secret or organized chaos, diba? So, these are two objects or two words na contradictory with each other. So, when we say open secret, may word talagang ganun. Kasi, supposedly secret sana siya. Kunwari, yung corruption, di ba, supposedly secret yan ng mga politicians. But, nagli-leak kasi, yan, yun. So, that is an example of an open secret. Para matandaan nyo lang. Now, we have organized chaos. Ano ba yun? May organized chaos pala? Yes, meron. So, pag nasa, kunwari, restaurant kayo, naririnig nyo, kunwari, nanonood kayo ng MasterChef, right? Siguro, alam ko naman nanonood kayo niyan. Pag nasa contest sila na nandun sila sa actual restaurant, di ba, sumisigaw si Gordon Ramsay doon. Pero, at the end of the day, may na-produce silang magandang product. So, nagsisigawan yung leader, nagsisigawan yung chef, nagsisigawan lahat. Organized chaos pa din siya because they are working with each other and there is a thing that is being done precisely. Okay, that is an example of organized chaos. So, nangyayari din yan sa mga events niyo. Pag may mga events kayo sa school, ganyan. Sumisigaw si leader, sumisigaw naman yung nag-aayos. Naranasan ko lahat yan, nagsisigawan lahat. Organized chaos palang tawag. Hindi pala siya chaos talaga. Organized siya kasi at the end of the day, nanalo naman kayo. At the end of the day, successful naman yung event. So, organized chaos. And another example is seriously funny. Ayan, yan yung mga yung lagi natin ito narinig. The quiet was deafening. He was clearly misunderstood. They were alone together. Okay. Ayan, so contradiction of words. Ayan, clearly misunderstood. Clear nga, contradict naman sa word na misunderstood. Quiet, contradiction sa word na deafening. Or alone, tas together. Okay, sana clear yun. Okay, that's the oxymoron. Next, we move on to paradox. Paradox naman is self-contradictory. So, this is a paradox is a contradictory statement which may appear false but in fact true. Ayan. So, example, but may natin basahin to. Sabi dito, example is, you can save money by spending it. Ulitin ko, you can save money by spending it. Self-contradictory siya, right? You spend your money, tas kaka-save ka. Though, in fact, it is, in fact, true, di ba? When you spend your money on your bills, you are saving a lot sa mga penalties. Yun. Or pag you are spending your money on certain sales, but not all sales, yan, clarify natin yan, certain sales na need mo na sa bahay nyo, but hindi mo na siya nabili noon kasi sobrang mahal, and kailangan, ibig sabihin, need talaga, hindi lang yung want, gusto mo lang nag-sale lang, binili mo, hindi ganon. Need siya sa bahay nyo, kunwari, higaan, or foam, ganyan, mattress, ganyan. So, gusto mo talagang bumili nun, kaso, ang mahal. So, nung nag 50% off, ginrab mo. So, you are saving money by spending it. Okay, you save a half of it. Okay. So, again, hindi lahat ng sale, ha? Baka sabihin nyo, sabi ni Ma'am paradox daw yun. You can save money by spending it. No. Be wise pa rin. Okay, sabi din dito, when you increase your knowledge, you understand how little you know. Kasi minsan tayo, we are, self-proclaimed. Ayan, yan yung hilig natin. We are self-proclaimed na, galing-galing ko talaga, ganyan. Pero, when we increase our knowledge, we realize na, ang liit lang pala ng alam ko. You know, ang dami kong na-realize dyan, especially nagturo ako. Siyempre, hindi naman lahat naturo sa amin nung nag-aaral ako. Since hindi naman offered pa, hindi naman bago yung curriculum namin. Unlike sa inyo ngayon, nagbabago yung curriculum. In our case, talagang medyo hindi pa talaga sobrang gumanda-ganda yung mga namin, ganyan. So, yeah, when I was given the chance to increase my knowledge, or pag nag-aaral ka ng further knowledge, wala mag-aaral ka ng masteral, dun mo ma-realize na, parang wala pala ako yung aral. Parang na out of place ka dito. Yun. So, pag kunwari kayo, mag-masteral kayo sa psychology, or pag sa pol sci naman, mag-aral kayo ng law, ganyan, doon mo talaga ma-realize, maalala mo ko, ma'am, ito pala yung paradox sa sinasabi mo. Na-realize ko na ang liit lang pala ng alam ko. Ayan. Okay. So, ayan. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. So, self-contradictory siya. War is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. So, ganyan sa literature, di ba? Ang lalim. So, kung isa-isahin natin yan, it has its own meaning. So, kung titignan natin yung meaning behind it, baka hindi na tayo matapos. So, yan. Deep down, you're really shallow. Medyo masakit yan, It was the best times, it was the worst times. Mga ganyan. Self-contradictory. Okay. Let's move on. Parang ang haba niya yata. Okay, medyo malapit na tayo. 17 lang to, tas imagery. Okay, let's move on to personification. Ayan na, 4 out of 5 na tayo. And personification is giving human qualities to non-human things. Okay, so baka malito tayo, makonfuse tayo sa simile, So sa personification naman, you are giving human qualities to the objects or to the non-human things. Okay, for example, tree, yung puno, sumabit yung kite. So, hindi man natin pwedeng sabihin na magsisipa tayo ng iba na, yung bata na yan, yung reason bakit sumapit yun. So, sabi no, the tree caught the kite. So, di ba parang, wow, talino talaga, di ba? So, pag gumagamit tayo yung figurative language, parang iba yung dating. Or, for example, sabi natin sa personification, the tree waved at us. It smiled. I can feel it. Ganyan. So, yan si personification. You are giving human qualities to the non-human things. Ayan. Okay. Ayan. So, medyo dalian ko na kasi parang dami-dami kong sinasabi. Yan. Simile is comparison. So, usually, alam na natin to gumagamit ng like and as, but not always. Okay? So, ayan. Similar siya to each other. So, in direct relationship, or one thing or idea is described as being similar to another. Yan. So, a simile is similar to metaphor. Yan yung sinasabi ko kanina, na yung metaphor naman is direct relationship. So, may purpose of comparison, yung the black sheep of the family or she's a bomb, ganyan. O, yan. But for for simile, most likely gumagamit din siya ng like or as, but not always, okay? But yeah, yun yung comparison niya for each other. So, cause she looks like a flower but she stings like a bee. Ang lalalim talaga ng mga literary, no? Ayan, he was cold as an arctic wind. Pwede nyo sabihin yan sa mga mga nanggo-ghost or mga cold na tao. Ayan. You are cold as an arctic wind. So, mapapaisip na siya. Baka i-search pa niya, anong arctic? O, diba? Ayan. So, yan na. Yan yung meaning ng simile. Now, for synecdoche, this is using a part for the whole or the whole for a part. Ano ba yun? Ano ba yun, ma'am? Okay. So, for example, gusto mong hindi man ipagyabang, pero pag sabi mo sa friends mo, alam mo, ang ganda talaga ng blessings ni Lord sa akin ngayon, nakabili ako ng bagong car. Pero gusto mo, sabi na, look at my new wheels. Ganyan, yung sa Amerika, ganyan yung mga lengguwahe nila. New wheels. Ibig sabihin, new wheels, hindi naman yung bagong gulong. Sa atin, siguro sa pagkakaintindi natin, anong new wheels? Titignan mo agad yung gulong. Nagbago siya ng gulong. Hindi. Ibig sabihin, new car. So, yun yung ginagamit. Synecdoche, part of a whole. So, part ng wheels, yung car. Ay, part ng car, yung wheels. Okay, nahihilo na ako. So, sorry. Using a part for the whole. Yan. Or, a whole for a part naman, yung sinasabi natin na, the Philippines won a gold medal. Where, in fact naman, a specific player from the Philippines won a gold medal. Pero ginagamit din na, the Philippines won a gold medal. So, yan ay example ng synecdoche. Or, the pen is mightier than the sword. Okay. So, for imagery, okay. Ayan. So, imagery, ayan, there are 7 different kinds. Ayan, so imagery may be defined as the representation through language of sense experience. So, poetry indirectly appeals to our senses through imagery. So, it suggests a mental picture. So, it evokes a vivid experience. It conveys emotions, suggests ideas. So, ito, medyo madali-dali na lang to. So, 5 senses: sight, hearing, touch, smell, or taste. So, writers use image to recreate certain experiences. Okay, imagery is used in literature to create pictures for the reader. Yan nga, nagka-create siya ng mental picture para hindi natin makalimutan. Or, yun yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, when we are reading certain literary pieces, parang nasa ibang mundo tayo, or parang we're away from the reality, or from, sometimes, kaya nga may mga tao talaga na nahuhook sa reading, kasi parang nakakalimutan natin yung chaos sa mundo. Yeah. Okay. So, imagery is used in literature in order to describe or enhance sensory experiences to the text. So, the language involved in imagery is often very vivid, imaginative, and poetic. So, making it entertaining to read, and bringing clarity and pictures to literature. So, further helping in understanding the piece. So, it uses the senses to highlight literature. So, this means that it will try to relate the action or incident to something that you can really relate to. So, there are 7 kinds of imagery. We have visual. So, this is something that seen in the mind's eye. So, the image stimulated in the mind's eye is either by something concrete such as an advert or by memory. So, for example, magnified apples appear and disappear, every fleek of frosted showing clear, the ice branches shed crystal shells. So, as you can see, pag binabasa mo niya na there's that mind's eye, or you are given a mental picture of the apple or the iced branches. So, nagsished siya ng crystal shells. Mga ganyan. Okay, may mga Tagalog pa dito ang wag na tayo, wag ko nang itry kasi, I have this problem of, minsan nabubulol. Okay, so let's move on to auditory. Auditory is for your sounds. Okay? Po, yan nga yung word na audio. So, wag niyong, para hindi kayo malito, auditory is for audio. It means to represent a sound. Okay. So, auditory images trigger our experiences with sound. So, auditory images evoke corresponding sounds in our imaginations. So the roar of trees, the crack of branches beating on a box, the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. Lalong lumalakas ang halakhak ng mga nakikinig. Hindi napigilan ni Aling Sindra ang boses na paghiyaw. Yan. The miniature thunder, the clatter of stones, and so on and so forth. Olfactory naman is the odor. Okay. So, nagre-represent ng odor or our smell. Ayan, smell. So, yan yung sa olfactory. So, scent of ripeness from over a wall, smelling the sweetness in no theb. Yan. Nalalanghap niya ang amoy ng itim at mataba at bagong halukay na lupa. Ayan. So, yan yung imagery ng scent. Yan, pang-amoy, olfactory. Gustatory, don't worry, malapit na tayo. Gustatory is to represent a flavor. So, yan, sarap, mga ganyan, asim kilig, hindi naman ganun. Salt, ayan, gustatory. Now, for tactile, this is for your touch. So, example, hardness, softness, wetness, heat, cold, ayan, yung mga yan. So, very self-explanatory naman na to. So, yan the bed linens, just as well as BIs and clothes, no, ganyan. So, naka-compare yung mga bagay-bagay into, to something na nag-create sa atin ng mental picture. So, pag ice, ibig sabihin, malamig yung tela. Yan yung sinasabi natin na, alam mo, itong beddings na to, itong linens na to, or itong damit na to, malamig yung tela niya. So, that is an example of tactile. You have this mental picture. So, yan. Organic imagery is for internal sensation. For hunger, thirst, fatigue, and fear. Organic imagery ang tawag dyan. So, yan. Ayan, ang init ng pakiramdam ni Miss Patupats, bagamat kidlat na umulos sa aking dibdib ang matagal na panlalamig ng aking asawa. Ayan. He felt lonely with no one to talk to, moved closer to when the secret fear started gnawing at the fringes of his wakeful consciousness. Ayan. Organic chemistry tuloy. Organic imagery. Ayan. So, nagugutom na kasi ako. Okay, next, we have kinesthetic, and that's the last. Medyo mahaba na pala. Okay, kinesthetic is the movement or tension. Okay, that is to refer to a human-animal movement or, closely related to visual images, for motion, often seen. Ayan. So, wind drives the seas, the leaves, the ocean, wild spirit moving everywhere. Nandyan yung mga movement, nandyan yung tension. So, yan. Drives, moving everywhere. Yan. Coming in, sway. Yan, sa kinesthetic imagery. Ayan, ladies and gentlemen, we are done. Ayan na lahat ng ating lessons for figures of speech. I hope na may natutunan kayo at I hope na hindi ko kayo na-bore kasi parang ang dami ko yatang nasabi. Ayan. So, again, I hope you'll have a great day ahead. Sana may natutunan kayo. Sana nakatulong to. At see you again sa ating next lesson. I hope na, during these trying times, ulitin ko yung sinabi ko kanina dun sa napanood kong movie kagabi. Raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that makes the flowers grow, not thunder. So, ang lalim nun, no? So, through literature, we can raise our words. Diba? So, it's not always our voice. Yeah. It is rain that makes the flowers grow, not thunder. So, again, I hope you have enjoyed this, and as much as I have enjoyed this. So, I'll see you again sa ating next lesson. Bye, everyone. Have a great day ahead. God bless you.